You slept for 1 hour, maybe less. The sky outside is still the color of ash when the knock comes. Hard, official, final. They are here. He is here. You are Pontius Pilate, and the most consequential morning of your life has just begun. The first thing that happens is strange, and it tells you everything about the political game being played. The chief priests and elders bring Jesus to the praetorium, your official residence in Jerusalem. But they will not enter. According to Jewish law, entering the home of a Gentile during Passover would make them ritually unclean, and they would be unable to eat the Passover meal. So they stay outside. And you, the Roman governor, have to walk out to them, in front of everyone, on their terms. Think about that. You are the most powerful man in the province, walking out to meet the people who are about to demand an execution. Already, before a single word is spoken, the power in the room has shifted. You know it. The priests know it. And every person watching can feel it. What accusation do you bring against this man? The priest's answer is deliberately vague. If this man were not doing evil, we would not have handed him over to you. They are not presenting evidence. They are presenting pressure. They are saying, "We have already decided. Just go along with it." You are not impressed. You tell them, "Judge him by your own law." And they reveal the real reason they need you. They say they are not permitted to put anyone to death. Under Roman occupation, the Jewish authorities had lost the right to carry out capital punishment. Only Rome could execute. Only you. That is why they are here. Not because they want justice, because they need your signature. So you go back inside. You bring Jesus in alone. And in that private room, away from the crowd, you ask the question that has echoed through 2,000 years of history. Are you the King of the Jews? And Jesus answers, not with a denial, not with a confession, but with a question of his own. Do you say this of your own accord, or did others say it to you about me? That is not the answer of a guilty man trying to escape. That is the answer of a man who is completely unafraid. You have spent your career interrogating people. You know what fear looks like. You know what guilt looks like. And the man standing in front of you is showing neither. Jesus tells you, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would have been fighting." You press again. "So you are a king." And Jesus answers, "You say that I am a king. For this purpose I was born, and for this purpose I have come into the world, to bear witness to the truth." Your response is 3 words. Just 3 words, but they have haunted philosophers and theologians for centuries. What is truth? You get no answer. And then you walk back outside. And you say to the crowd, clearly and publicly, "I find no guilt in him." You have made your judgment. The man is innocent. Now all you have to do is enforce it. But that is where everything falls apart. The priests escalate. They begin accusing Jesus of stirring up the people from Galilee all the way to Jerusalem. Galilee. You hear that word and you have an idea. Galilee falls under the jurisdiction of Herod Antipas, the ruler of that region. And Herod happens to be in Jerusalem for Passover. So you send Jesus to Herod. A legal technicality, a delay, a way to avoid the decision for a few more hours. Herod had wanted to see Jesus for a long time. He had heard about him. He hoped to see a miracle performed. But Jesus says nothing to him, not one word. Herod and his soldiers mock Jesus, dress him in a fine robe to ridicule him as a fake king, and send him back to you. The two of you, you and Herod, had been enemies before this day. After it, the Gospel of Luke tells us, you became friends. united perhaps by the strange man neither of you could figure out. You try again. You call together the chief priests and rulers and say, "I have examined him in your presence and found no guilt in this man." You propose a compromise. You will have Jesus flogged and then release him. Flogging was brutal. It was meant to satisfy the demand for punishment while stopping short of death. Surely, you think, this will be enough. It is not enough. Now you invoke the Passover prisoner release, Barabbas or Jesus. You stand before the crowd and ask, and the crowd, prepared, organized, directed by the priests, shouts for Barabbas. You are stunned. You ask again, "Then what shall I do with Jesus who is called Christ?" And they answer with 4 words that have echoed for 2,000 years. "Let him be crucified." Why? What evil has he done? The crowd only shouts louder. And at this moment, exactly this moment, your wife's message arrives. Have nothing to do with that righteous man. It lands in your hands while the screaming fills the air. Righteous man, crucify him. And then you do something that no Roman governor before or after you has ever done in recorded history. You call for a basin of water. In front of the entire crowd, you wash your hands, and you say, "I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves." It is a Jewish ritual, the washing of hands to declare innocence from the book of Deuteronomy. You, a Roman, are using a Jewish ritual to declare your own conscience clean while ordering the execution of a man you publicly called innocent. That hand-washing, that single gesture, it is the moment that defines you forever. Not the verdict, not the flogging, the hand-washing. Because it tells us something devastating about human nature, that it is possible to know something is wrong, to say it is wrong, and still do it, and then to perform a ritual to convince yourself your hands are clean. You are Pilate. You have just washed your hands. The crowd is satisfied. The priests are satisfied. Somewhere behind you, soldiers are already preparing the cross. And you walk back inside, alone. In the next episode, the last one, we ask the question that has haunted historians, theologians, and ordinary people for 20 centuries. What happened to Pontius Pilate after that morning? And what would the world look like if you had made a different choice?